to have one removed. So just imagine the lack of balance. There's just something that happens when it's not just the hormones that go crazy, but there's just something that happens when one of your woman parts is suddenly not there, and then throughout the treatment, because I had chemotherapy as well, my hair fell. My hair started falling, I think, about 2 weeks into the treatment. Yes, we changed hairstyles here and there, but it was thank you. But it was a real shocker. I suppose it was like a reminder of how fragile we are, how vulnerable we are. And then also my face really darkened. Hasn't yet recovered totally, but my face went really dark. My hands and nails were really dark. My feet were dark. And it really, you try to be strong, but somehow it causes you to sort of withdraw. Or say you're talking to someone, you can actually see the gaze, on your face. You, they're looking at you either with pity,
or they're trying to figure it out, like, you born?
Yes, exactly, because you don't exactly walk around with the cancer stamp on your forehead.
No, you don't.
And of course, before the hair falls, it sort of thins, it weakens, like rino yerera. So
like over relaxed hair.
Yes, and it just starts falling in chunks. So I just decided, look, I'm just going to shave the head. I'm shaving my head, just so I feel I'm in control. And also having seen other cancer survivors, there was this amazing Tinashe Chiwai.
Okay.
I had seen her on Facebook, with the bald head and these big earrings, and she really rocked it. So I thought, look, let me just give it a shot and see. Yeah, so my image was really affected. My self-esteem was really affected.
When you initially got the diagnosis, what was that like? What was the whole process? How did it happen? What made you discover that you actually had breast cancer?
Okay, September 2021. I had just taken my evening bath, and I felt a lump, a small lump. I always say the size of a marble. Yeah, a small lump the size of a marble. I felt this lump, and I kind of knew my breast, and because it was just before October Breast Cancer Awareness Month, there was a whole lot of hype around it. So I felt it, and I'm like, no, this wasn't there before.
Right.
And having supported a friend on her breast cancer journey, I think alarm bells. Ding,
they just rang.
You need to do something. So I went the next day to the Cancer Association just so they could feel my breasts and confirm if there was really a lump or if it was just in my mind.
And does a lump always mean breast cancer, or it could be other things, but you were just like, let me just go and get checked?
A lump can be other things, and I'm glad you asked that, Becky, because I had an ultrasound first, and the ultrasound said, don't worry, it's just a fibroadenoma, and these things are normal, but because you're above 40, you might want to just get it checked, but it's your choice. You don't have to have it removed, but just go and get it checked. So I'm part of a fitness group. I've got this amazing network of women. So that evening we talked about lumps, we talked about breast cancer, and the subject of my lump came up. And then there was one girl, Charity. She was a survivor. May her soul rest in peace. She's late now. So she badgered me, Sandra, get that lump removed, because I only found out too late, because I waited and I thought it's just a lump. So I went and I had the lump removed, and then 3 weeks later, that lump that was nothing turned out to be breast cancer.
Wait a minute. So you felt the lump, went to Cancer Association.
I went to Cancer Association. They did a manual check,
right?
They confirmed that
there was a lump,
yes.
But they said it was a fibro.
Yes, because they sent me for an ultrasound. So the ultrasound just thought, no, it's just a fibroadenoma.
Okay, fibroadenoma.
Right. As women, we get cysts, we get all these harmful lumps, and they just like the way we get fibroids here and there.
Yeah.
Sometimes they shrink, they disappear. So they thought that this is what it was. It didn't seem like it was cancerous at all.
But your late friend then said, girl, listen,
she said you need to go. She said it in the group, and she came to inbox. She said, Sandra, go and get it done.
Okay.
So yes, I went. I didn't have money at that time, so friends pulled around, put money together, made an appointment with the surgeon, Dr. Wazara, and
the lump was removed.
The lump was removed.
Right. So when they remove the lump, is that when they actually test if it's cancerous?
Yes, they did a biopsy at one of the local labs, and 3 weeks later I got the results. Well, I just sat across like how we are sitting here, and he was like, we were expecting certain results, but we got something different. You have cancerous cells.
So Sandra's world at this point, when you are hearing that the lump that you felt a few weeks ago is now cancerous, what's going through your mind? Because you're a mom at this point, right? You've got children.
I'm a mom. I've got children. I've got grandchildren.
Yeah. How old was your youngest at the time when you heard?
My youngest was around, I think she was 10.
Okay.
And I must mention, she has special needs. So she was due, for checkups and stuff. So I just thought, no, look, I'm a single parent. I'm raising this child. No, I just thought cancer, that's it. I'm gone. I love social media. I'm always on social media. So straight away I could see, rest in peace. You know how people love to post rest in peace. She was a good soul. Sandra, why? Gone to I literally saw all that. Dr. Wazara tried to show me the paper because I think he was trying to explain, look, we caught it early and these are the treatment options. I didn't even hear him. I think he was just talking to himself. And I was, no, I've got cancer, I'm going to die. Why? I felt like I was being punished.
For what?
You don't know, like, I'm being punished. Why am I being punished? What have I done? I'm a Sunday school teacher, I think I'm a good person.
Like I'm doing it right.
Yes, what have I? Yeah, I think also the thing is when you get a diagnosis like that, you never, most of the time, you never think it could happen to you. It's always a them and an us. You was like, those people with cancer. I never thought I would be one of those people.
Was there a history in your family of some people that died of cancer or suffered cancer or survived cancer?
Maybe my dad's second cousin, very distant cousin, had breast cancer, and she had a lump which she ignored. So by the time we saw her in hospital, it had spread. So that's sort of, that was like one of my first experiences.
It's not easy to have a mastectomy because it has spread all over. Now it's on the other organs.
Yes, it had spread. She was in hospital. Well, I don't know if she had sought treatment early enough. I don't know what her options were because we were still young. We just knew Tete is in hospital. Janzivane cancer. So when we did go in and see her, she looked really bad. So imagine this is what I knew about cancer. Yeah. So straight away I just thought, okay, I'm dying. And of course I tried to negotiate. You try to negotiate with God. Okay, at least a week. Is it a week? Is it 2 weeks? Is it a month? I think that's when you sort of see the value of time. You start to think about the things you haven't done. I've got a child with a disability. I'm supposed to write a book about her. I'm supposed to do this, I'm supposed to do that. I suddenly thought of all the things that I hadn't done yet. And it didn't seem like I was going to be, 3 years later, I'm here today. At that time, it didn't seem like I would be here.
So in your mind, when you sat in that doctor's office, you didn't see 2024?
No.
2024 was not in your books?
No, I didn't. Actually, Dr. Wazara said, let's pray. And I just said, no, you can pray. You can pray. You pray. I still got business.
I got things to deal with.
It was you pray.
This.
And it was like, no, call my sister. You pray, call my sister and tell her what you've told me. Because maybe you're lying to me. Maybe there's some big joke or something. So he called my sister and he just said, no, look, you need to come. We're just dealing with some hard news.
Yeah. All right, and then so Sandra is now knowing what the diagnosis is. She now knows, okay, breast cancer, but the lump has been removed. Wasn't there a bit of hope in you that, okay, you found cancer in that lump, not in me? Wasn't there some hope that you were like, okay, the lump that could have made things worse has been removed, but doctor is saying I've got cancerous cells, so what are the chances of me being okay and not giving yourself the death sentence? Was there no bit of hope at all?
Okay, there's that glimmer of hope because you know of a survivor. So there's that hope. But then there's also, if I thought this couldn't happen to me, what else do I think is not going to happen to me that might happen? The D word, I'm going to die. So while there was hope, I think there was more of anxiety. I struggled to sleep. I struggled to pray. Just being told you have cancer, I started feeling pains that were not there. What I imagined cancer was and what it was doing in my body, I just thought it's there. And because Dr. Wazara had told me of the treatment options, I had a mastectomy. The first step was to have my breast removed. So I had a mastectomy. Then I was referred to an oncologist.
So the mastectomy came before the chemotherapy?
It came before the chemotherapy.
Okay.
And I was just like, let's remove it. I actually thought, let's remove it. We're removing the cancer, right? Let's remove it. Take both of them off. But of course, because of the cost, I could only have one removed at that time. So I was referred to a good oncologist, Dr. Patience Mba. I met with her. She did some tests just to further investigate on, look, what type of cancer was it? Was it a fast-moving cancer? What was causing it? Did it respond to hormonal treatment? The blood tests, what's Sandra's body like? Can it handle chemo? So we did all those tests. And I think at that was the point where I cried. In fact, I didn't. Is there a difference between cry and kujamba?
There's a big difference, Sandra?
Yeah, so I didn't cry.
Because kujamba is wailing.
Yes.
You wailed.
I jambered in those rooms. I said, I can't have chemo. I can't. The cost, I knew it. I had heard it was expensive. The cost, I've got so much to do. I've got work. How am I going to go to work and have chemo at the same time? And what if it kills me? Because you hear all these stories. If you have chemo, you're going to die. And
I'm thinking of a normal doctor's visit. A normal doctor's visit where I got a flu, whatever, and then they start talking blood tests. Me, I tap out. I'm like, I'm Jada. I came in here because I had a flu. Now I can imagine what you went through trying to figure out means to stay alive. Because now you were like, okay, if they take it off, my chances of being alive are higher. So take it off. And then you discover, no, Sandra,
that's not it. We still have a journey. Yes, Dr. Mba told me we still have a journey. The standard is 8 cycles, 8 months. I was like, what? 8 months, 3 weeks. Every 3 weeks, you're going to have a chemotherapy session, and afterwards you have radiotherapy every single day for 25 days. So that's exactly what I did.
Explain the chemotherapy process.
Okay, the process was basically 3-week cycles. I had chemo every 3 weeks. So what I would do is about 3 days before chemo, I would have blood tests just to see if my liver was functioning okay, if my white blood cells were doing okay, if my hemoglobin was okay, because chemo wreaks havoc in your system.
So is chemo an injection, a machine? Medicine that you take, is it a drip? Is it
it's administered via IV through a drip.
Okay, so
you go you go into the hospital. That's if your bloods are okay. If your bloods are not okay, either you get I used to get Neupogen boosters because I had a blood issue. My immune system was really low at that time. So I'd go in, have it administered through the veins. I'd be in there 4 hours, like 4 hours, and then maybe another 2-3 hours I doze off because there's a whole lot of meds that they put in, just to help your body cope. I'd go home, take a nap, sleep. The next day I'd be back at work,
feeling better,
feeling okay. Maybe around day 3 it would start. the nausea. I had nausea. I had night sweats. Oh my goodness.
How would you compare the nausea? You know, there's the pregnancy nausea, and then there's the chemo nausea.
That's it.
So it's like
chemotherapy for a lot of people. It's like a bad pregnancy, and a pregnancy that's not ending. You know,
like take this baby out, like right now.
Yeah, like nausea, and it's sleepless nights, and you struggle to eat. I really, really struggled to eat, but thanks to some of the meds that I was taking, I didn't lose weight at all. I actually gained.
No way.
I actually gained a lot of weight. So that first week, I'm struggling to eat. Socially as well, I'd be struggling. I just want to sleep. I'm tired. I'm super tired. So sometimes I'd be in and out of the office. And the next week, you know, I'm coming along, you know, I'm getting better. So just as I got better,
you were due for the next one.
I'm back in there.
And you had to be at work because there was nothing else to do. You had to be
you had
at work to finance.
Yes, there's no way you're going to take 8 months sick leave. Hello?
Paid sick leave.
Exactly, 8 months paid sick leave. You know, the work has to be done. And then my office space was quite generous as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as long as the work was done, like my bosses were like, look, do what you can, because I think they understood that because this was just after the pandemic, that after the pandemic, the last thing you want is to be stuck in your bedroom and unwell.
I know.
And by the way, just before my 3rd chemotherapy session, I caught COVID. And you know how they always say, I tested positive for COVID. We'd have a COVID test every 3 weeks.
Fighting cancer.
Yes.
And then you test positive for COVID.
Mm-hmm. And you know how everyone used to say, no, cancer is fine unless you have, what's that word? Morbidities, you know? Unless you have diabetes, hypertension, or cancer, then you're in trouble. So I thought, oh my goodness. But my body responded well to the COVID meds and the rest. My chemo delayed by 2 weeks, but we pushed through it. And then after the 4th, when we were halfway, a day after my 4th chemo session, my daughter had an emergency.
This is the young one.
The young one, the one, the wheelchair user. She had
she's
an emergency.
in a wheelchair.
Yes.
Okay.
She was born with spina bifida. So imagine I've just come from chemo. I'm resting, and then 2 a.m. I wake up. She's having seizures. I phoned. You know, you're frantic. I phoned somebody. Someone started praying with her, and I drove straight to the hospital. She had to have surgery within 3 days because she had a blocked shunt. There was too much fluid in her brain.
Okay.
So she had to have emergency surgery. So she was there in one bed,
and you were in the other.
And I was in the other bed, kind of recovering.
And your oldest child is how old?
My oldest is you want to expose me?
I don't want to expose you. I just want to.
She's 29. She's 29.
This is why
she's away at school.
I refuse that you're a grandmother. There's no way. How do you have a 29-year-old? How, Sandra? Explain to me how you have a 29-year-old.
The blessing happened.
Because initially just looking at you, I would have put your firstborn maybe at 20 at least. Not 29.
You're so kind, Becky.
Not 29. I would have, if you had said, no, my oldest is 20 and then my youngest is 8, 7 or something, I would have believed you. But when you said my youngest was 10, I'm like, no, this is 2021, Cassandra. What are you saying? Saka, your oldest is what?
It's God's grace.
Okay,
it's God's grace. She actually looks 21. She's 29.
I think you
but she
got
actually
good
looks
genes.
21.
I think you have good genes.
Yes, I think it's I receive, and may they continue.
May they continue. So because the picture I'm trying to create is, or the picture that I've seen is, you've got this youngest in hospital with you. She's going through her own stuff. She probably doesn't even know that mom is going through chemo and suffering from this deadly thing. you are in this bed and you are thinking about her and this other one.
And I'm thinking about the other one.
And you're thinking about the other one, and you're like, God, this cannot be my life. This can really not be happening to me. And I think I now understand where you were like, why am I being punished? By the way, what did I do? Exactly. You know? So I'm seeing that picture now. I'm seeing it. Initially when you started, I was like, oh, come on, Sandra. Why would God punish you? For what? But as you were explaining it and breaking it down,
oh, it wasn't easy.
But you know, Mari.
Oh, Becky, it wasn't easy. I survived on Don Moen.
I love Don Moen.
Yes.
Love Don Moen.
My hendere. Hey, I couldn't sleep. So I would play music the whole night. Just to calm me.
Yeah.
Because even while you're on treatment, those thoughts do come. Like when you're really sick, you wonder, okay, is this just sick, or is this it? Yeah, because chemo really plays havoc with your body.
I've heard that chemo does that whole draining thing, and I'm happy that you mentioned some symptoms that I've heard about. So now at least my questioning can be directed in that direction. What would you do to suppress the nausea? Was there medication that would allow you to take?
Yes.
Because I hear, I don't know if it's legal in Zim though, but I've heard like in South Africa, in the States, they've actually prescribed weed.
I heard about that.
Yeah, I heard about it.
I heard about CBD oil.
Okay, right.
And I have a friend of a friend.
A friend of a friend. It's okay, no names.
She actually, I think she started taking CBD oil and stuff just to calm.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to sleep.
Yeah, because I heard that, that whole cannabis plant and it's got certain healing properties that would help to suppress the nausea just so that you could function.
Yes.
It was for functionality purposes, really. So now I'm trying to think, okay, now your body's trying to fight this. You're going through this nausea. And you really can't take meds like a pregnant lady who's going through nausea. You might cook.
No.
Take bland food. It must be bland.
Not even,
take crackers and stuff. Yeah.
Some days I would actually, it wasn't advised, but some days I would want pizza. I remember saying to Dr. Mba, I feel like pizza. Can I have some pizza? And she'd like say, okay, I have some pizza, but maybe Sanzaregio, Sandra. Just a bit of Sanzaregio. Maybe with peanut butter. I think she tried to paint a yummy picture.
Conscious,
yes,
as well.
Because your immune system is taking a knock. So you need to be putting in. You need all your vitamins. You need all those nutrients.
Right.
You need your vitamin C. You need your nutrients. You just need everything. Otherwise, you're going to lose weight.
And that's where you were like, I'm sick enough as it is. There's no way I'm going to lose weight. And then God dealt you a nice hand and said, okay, Sandra, you won't lose weight.
You will gain. You will gain. Actually, there was some of, I think there were some steroids which were part of the pre-meds. I think they helped with the eating.
Okay.
And they also helped a bit with the nausea.
Yeah.
But another thing is water. A friend of mine told me, drink loads of water. So I would drink up to 3 liters of water. It didn't taste good. It didn't taste good at all.
I have a love-hate relationship with water.
Oh, come on.
I do. I promise you. I say love-hate because there's days when I'm really good with the water intake, and there's days where I count like, when was the last time I drank water?
Yeah. Now, water's not fun, especially if you're being forced to drink it.
Yeah.
So what we would do sometimes, we put cucumber slices, we put ginger, just to
infuse something. Into it.
Yeah, just to make it go down.
If you're just joining us, this is She Diaries. We're speaking to Sandra Chidawanyika, a cancer survivor. She was diagnosed in 2021 and has managed to fight it, and she completed her cancer treatment in 2022. So we're just getting into her life, getting to know her story, and sure, it's quite a story. Sandra, we are now at the point where you have started this cancer treatment. You are on chemo, and the doctor is telling you it's an 8-month cycle. Like, we have to do this for 8 months until we can ring the bell. Because I hear there's a bell that people ring.
They ring the bell, and you get a certificate.
Yes, like, no, now we can ring the bell, Sandra, and clear you from cancer. Did you go through the whole 8 months?
Yes, I went through the whole 8 months. Some days were good, some days were not so good. I remember even like the very first chemo session, I went for chemo, went on the on the drip and everything. And when I came back to the doctor, I was like, no chemo yajo, because I was waiting for something to happen. It didn't. So sometimes things would happen. Sometimes I'd be fine. Sometimes I'd have chemo today, and we'd go to the lake with the family. Sometimes I'd have chemo today, and then there's a staff party at the office, and I would be there. So there were good days.
Did you ever get like really, really sick where you were bedridden, where you were like, I can't function this week, I'm not going to work, I'm just in bed, please leave me alone? How many months into the treatment?
Okay, it was in May, June. So that would have been 3 months into the treatment. I didn't want to get up. I was weak. I couldn't get up. My kids came. Mom, some food. I didn't want to eat. I didn't want to talk. So I got to a point where I wasn't responding, because like talking, opening my mouth, I don't know, it's hard to believe the energy, and it actually made me more nauseous. So they phoned my sister and my brother-in-law. I think they tried to phone everybody. So everyone comes, they're like, are you depressed? What is it? And because it's like a bad pregnancy, imagine people come in with their perfumes, and so the minute they came in, I was running away from them.
They
brought cake, they brought
what you were going through.
Well, I think they had been told what to expect. My sister Vicky, she came with me to every doctor's visit.
Oh, thanks, Vicky.
So thanks, VJ. Yeah, so she, they sort of knew what to expect. Vicky, a slice of bread, I couldn't even, you'd literally just take crumbs and you try to suck on the bread because you couldn't swallow. It was really bad. Cake, I love chocolate cake. I couldn't eat chocolate cake. As they're cooking, and I was very sensitive to a lot of smells. You couldn't do laundry if I was in the next room, because I would feel it. I was sensitive to smells, flowers, even. I'm sure I was sensitive to bright colors as well.
You're like, stop it, you're
like
wearing
everything.
What are you wearing? Why are you wearing red?
Yeah, everything was. Yeah, on this particular day, it was really bad. It was actually 2-3 days. It was really, really bad. And they tried to give me food that I had enjoyed in the previous months, but that didn't work. Actually, throughout the month, what I ate after the first cycle was different from the second cycle, from the third cycle, because somehow things got worse. Because as the drug sort of worked in my body, it felt as if, because what chemo does, it's going after the bad cells, the cancer cells.
Right.
So it also goes after the good cells. So I'd like to say, as the chemo drug sort of colonized my body, I just felt like there was like less of me.
So a part of you got lost.
For me, that's how it was.
Did you ever find that side of Sandra ever again? Or you were like, I don't want that side of Sandra to ever come back. Let that side of Sandra go. Let me deal with this new part of Sandra, who's had a mastectomy, who's fought and survived
Definitely,
cancer.
I have changed.
Yeah.
Definitely, I have changed. I have a different outlook on life. I used to sweat the small stuff.
Now you're like,
now listen. Even road rage. I can drive through this traffic, and just be like, I'll say,
and not shout at anyone.
And not shout at anyone. I'll be like,
Sandra, teach me.
I just say to my daughter, okay, what nickname shall we give this one? Or we make a song out of.
That's a clever one. Clever one.
Because another thing as well, you get to know that cancer loves stress. So when you're stressed, your immune system is really compromised.
Yeah.
And it's easy for you to get sick.
Okay, so stay away from stress.
Yeah, so stay away from stress.
Stay away from stress.
Yeah.
If you were to speak to someone who is currently fighting cancer, and is probably feeling maybe what you felt in 2021, that my world is over. God, why are you punishing me? Like, here's the death sentence. Let me write my will. Let me do all of that. That person who's going through that right now, what would Sandra say to that person?
I would, the first thing I would just say, speak life. Every morning, speak life. I would also remind them that, look, life and death are a way of life. We don't know when we are going. Like even now, I don't know what tomorrow holds. I don't know when, when I will take my last breath. So don't worry. Don't focus so much on death, but focus on living. And be strong. It will pass. And indeed, it does pass. It does pass. And then another thing is, cancer is something that's come into your body, but it's your body. So I think you constantly need to remind yourself that it's my body, so I'm in control of my body, not the cancer. Because if you let it control you, if you let it colonize you, it'll be like, hey, it takes over.
Yeah, that's a good one. We had questions from our listeners, and some of the questions were more or less on the cost implication of it. Someone was saying, I'm sure she was on medical aid, so it made it easier. Another one says, what options are available for patients who are not on medical aid? And another one was like, I'm curious about the cost part.
Yeah, let's talk about that, Becky. Medical aid. I was on medical aid,
right?
So it did make it easier. But I still had to do funding appeals. I still needed money because medical aid benefits get to a point where they sort of run out. And then I've noticed a lot of medical aid
for cancer patients.
For cancer patients, a lot of medical aid societies are not kind to people with chronic illnesses. It's a fact. It's a fact. Becky, if I was to apply for membership to a new medical society, the first thing they would ask is, what are your chronic illnesses? The local and the international ones. If I have cancer, if I have high blood pressure, I'm high risk, so they take the case. And I think medical aid societies do not want people who chew up the money. I know that's the business.
Like, get sick but don't get sick.
Yeah, get sick but don't get too sick.
Man, Sandra, and you said so, smile on your face.
Yeah, they're not very kind. I actually got to a point where the medical aid ran out and I was paying cash for all my blood tests. So it wasn't.
Can you see the reaction in studio? Everyone is like, no, man. Everyone is like, no, man.
So yes, I'm on medical aid, and yes, I do work. But I still, if people were to go on my Facebook page, they would actually see I made appeals for money. People collected money for me to be able to afford treatment.
Wow, we just need to cut that short for a bit. It's 1 o'clock. It's time for the news. But do stick around. We want to say, thank you to Sandra nicely. So stick around after the news, where we just finalize with Sandra. You are speaking to, I was speaking to Sandra Chinawanyika Goliath, who is a cancer survivor. When we come back, we say thank you to Sandra. It's 1 o'clock. Stand by.